Hello, very good morning. It is great to have you with us right here on Virgin Media 1 and IrelandAM.
Do you want to say a few more things?
We are on air, right?
We are on air, Virgin
Okay,
Media
great.
Player, loads of things. Thank you so much for joining us. It's Tuesday, the 10th of September, and here's what we've got coming up on the show today.
Now, during the night, an Israeli strike in the Gaza Strip killed at least 40 people and wounded a further 60. We are going to find out more about that and the other news making the headlines this morning at 7:35.
Yeah, that happened in a humanitarian zone. The stage is also set for a showdown in the US. It's the first US presidential debate. We'll be looking ahead to that at 7:15 this morning.
And a little bit later on, Ellen Keane is going to join us to top of the highs and the lows of her incredible 16-year-long Paralympic career. She's going to be joining us at 7:45.
Amazing. Alan, what else we got coming up today?
Well, Meryl, the wonderful Catherine Layden will be joining us in the kitchen later this morning, and we're going to find out if your birth order has an impact on your career and your relationships. Were you the firstborn, the lastborn, or you one right in the middle? How does it affect that family dynamic? Let us know. We'd love to hear from you on 089 611 111. And Deric is down in Bull Island in Dublin this morning. Quite windy down there this morning, Deric.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, ahead of our trip to Newcastle and County Down, we've landed here onto the Irish Sea this morning. Now, it is, as you can probably hear, a very windy, a very blustery start, showers through the west, the midwest, and up around the northeast. And it is, once again, that mixture of showers and sunshine right across the day. So a little bit of seesaw weather action out there this Tuesday. Now, as you mentioned, there at Bull Island is where we're at this morning. Of course, litter pollution is still a major problem, not only here, but right up and down our coastal regions. So later on this morning, we're going to be catching up with the Clean Coast crew, some of the Bull Island Action Group, as well as doing a litter pick on the beach and in around the dunes as well, with some of the students from St. Paul's and Raheny, some of the TY students. You were talking, guys, there about family order. I'm the middle child. What does that mean? I'm overshadowed, is it?
No, you think you are, but you get all the attention.
I'm lacking something.
Get all the
Go
attention
away.
and everybody loves you.
And you're amenable and you're wonderful and you sort everything out, Deric. That's what you do for us.
It's very windy.
It sure is. Thanks very much, Deric. Fair play to you. We'll catch up with you a little bit later on. Go in and get yourself a nice cup of coffee.
Now, coming up on IrelandAM, we're going to be discussing all the latest news and the first US presidential debate with Kamala involved.
Yes, we're also going to be joined a little bit later on by Paralympian legend Ellen Keane. All still to come here on IrelandAM, back after this break.
Welcome back. Now, in June, Donald Trump and Joe Biden, they took part in a debate that proved so disastrous for President Joe Biden that he was forced to drop out of the US presidential race, paving the way for Kamala Harris to take the Democratic presidential nomination.
Yes, there are huge expectations and concerns surrounding both candidates ahead of the debate tonight. So here to tell us more is editor of the Journal.ie, Sinead O'Carroll. Good morning to you, Sinead.
Morning.
And senior lecturer in the School of Media at TU Dublin, Harry Brown. Good morning to you, Harry. Great to have you both with us. A lot of expectation, a lot of interest in this debate that is going on between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. The only debate, and could be the only one. What do you expect to see between the two of them tonight?
It'll be lively. I think so. You know, both candidates have something to do, something to prove. Mainly, it's actually to kind of frame their opponent. This is not a race where there's a lot of undecided people. This is not a race where there's a kind of a likelihood of people changing their minds in vast numbers. This is about energizing the people who are already there to vote for you. You know, what looked like a really good summer for Kamala Harris has turned into a much more touch and go situation now that we're in the autumn.
And that's what the New York Times framed it as the other day in their poll, which put them just a point. She's a point behind Donald Trump now. The honeymoon period is over and people need to know who she is. There is one thing that's happening in this debate, because we remember him, Donald Trump, with Hillary Clinton stalking around the stage. They're going to mute the opponent's microphone when they're answering a question.
Yeah, this was a big kind of fight, I guess, between the Harris team and the debate. The ABC News is doing the debate. So they wanted mics on. They wanted hot mics to pick up everything that Trump was saying in case he was having kind of those moments that he was a little less coherent, that he was kind of that nasty woman thing he did to Hillary Clinton. Yeah. The Harris team thought it would be good for the American people to hear everything that he's saying, but ABC News held strong and they said, no, the mics are staying off. So Harris's team lost that. They still think that there might be some of that Trump will get caught even on mic a little bit. So they're still hoping that he will be kind of that chaotic Trump, but he wasn't really that chaotic Trump against Biden. So he probably has learned a little bit, or his aides have kind of convinced him to not do that as much. So but they'll be hoping that maybe 2020 Trump turns up kind of who, again, when he debated Biden, and Biden looked much more like the statesman than Trump, and that played very well for him. Yeah. But like Harry said, there's very few undecided. So like tonight, what really this is, it's a televised spectacle to see, does anyone implode? Yeah. That's the only thing that'll actually be as consequential as the last debate, which obviously was the most consequential in history. Like, does anyone implode?
People know who Trump is.
We know exactly who Trump is. We know what to expect from him. But people don't really know much about Kamala Harris. She's only done, I think, one interview since being put forward.
Yeah, and look, she's the incumbent in a country where, or an incumbent, she's the vice president in a country where people are mostly kind of unhappy about how things are going. And, you know, as you say, she's been very low-key. She's been very, very scripted. Even when she did the interview, she more or less hit the same talking points that she's been using in her stump speeches. So she really has to, I think, to shore up her base, she has to show a little more nimbleness, a little more readiness to work on her feet. But again, to frame the race as important enough to bring out her base. That's really what both candidates have to do.
And this is an issue with the base because normally she's polling at about 78% amongst black people, Latinas and young people, where normally for Democrats you'd expect to be up in the 90s. So this is where she needs to gain.
Yeah, it's a numbers game now. Trump's base are solid and they're enthusiastic and they will vote. She needs to make sure that her base are solid, enthusiastic and will vote. And she needs to get those numbers up because that's what'll win it for her. So she needs something to keep that base energized. We saw during the DNC that there was a lot of joy and that was the big narrative around it. There was a lot of enthusiasm for her. But, you know, as the weeks go on, she needs to keep that going. Something like abortion might be very important tonight if she gets kind of momentum around an issue like that can bring out voters, that can bring people who mightn't necessarily always be enthusiastic because there is access to abortion is under threat in multiple states. That could be a big thing for her. And Trump's policies on it have been absolutely bonkers, like all over the place.
Will she change anything? Because she's been part of Biden's administration. And as you mentioned a minute ago, that is a country that is not happy at the moment.
Yeah.
So will she continue what he has been doing, or do you think she'll make big changes?
That's her dilemma. And, you know, we've been expecting that she might separate herself from Biden on various issues. Mostly when she has, she's done so in a kind of a conservative direction, as a matter of fact. There's polling yesterday in swing states that show that people are quite unhappy with the war in the Middle East, you know, and I think we have to watch out for that as an issue. Trump has been hammering on the stump that, you know, the world is in danger, you know, and that he's the one who's going to come in and prevent World War III. And I think that there is, you know, the polling suggests that is telling, at least across the Midwest.
It's fascinating, isn't it, that she's a woman as vice president, they don't really have much to do. Their economy, like everywhere else, we've got inflation, but full economy, everyone's working, employment is going well. But again, during his time, this is seen as a vote for change, even though we saw what he did over 4 years. Yeah. It's mad.
And the economy thing, it's all about perception rather than what's happening on a national scale. Or even on a national scale in the US, because it just doesn't, people don't feel it in the same way. Richard Chambers, for you guys, had a really interesting package last night where they talked to one Trump voter who wasn't, you know, he was wearing the hat and stuff, but he wasn't like the MAGA kind of make America great again. He was just saying, look, when Trump was president, this was a one-income household and we were doing well. Now we're a three-income household. We have 3 jobs between 2 of us. So he was putting a binary thing. When Trump was here, it was better. He wasn't putting all that global context on it. So there are some things about the economy. She will try and avoid, I think, talking about the economy and getting into things like the Fed and inflation. Trump, if he's well prepared, which we're not sure if he is, he says he doesn't prepare. There isn't the same kind of bunkering down like she's doing. But if his aides have gotten to him, he probably will try and keep pivoting to how people are feeling about the economy rather than actually what's happening.
Yeah. It's taken part in Philadelphia tonight, in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, there's a lot of key swing states, but this is the most important, it seems. How important are what are the hot topics in this state?
I mean, it'll be in Pennsylvania tonight, but there's no audience. You know, it's it's sort of abstractly in Pennsylvania. It's in Philadelphia, next to where the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution were signed. But yeah, Pennsylvania is the key audience. But to a certain extent, I think Harris has tried to move the campaign a little bit south. That she's showing some advantages in North Carolina and Georgia, two other important swing states, so that Pennsylvania, which is very where the white non-college educated are a majority of the electorate, and the older ones as well, don't seem to be coming for Harris, and even in the same way that they went for Biden. So. Pennsylvania is important, but now watch out for her moving on North Carolina, on Georgia, on Arizona, on Nevada. If she can take all of those states, then maybe the Midwest is not quite as important.
But she's got Russia. She's got Vladimir Putin. This is fascinating, what's going on with the smile in Putin's face being like Kamala. It's weird, right?
It's like disinformation in real time.
Disinformation in real time.
Yeah,
he wants Trump in.
Yeah, of course he does. And because obviously he's not going to act on Ukraine in the same way that Harris will. But it's just disinformation in real time. They're really good at it, even when it's just playing out live on a debate show.
And you're all sitting there going, what are you up to?
Listen, it's going to be pretty interesting stuff. We'll find out tomorrow morning. I certainly won't be getting up for it at 2 o'clock. But Sinead O'Carroll, editor of the Journal, great to have you with us, and Harry Byrne from TU Dublin. Thank you so much.
Some people's Super Bowl, some people's All-Ireland final this is tonight.
Might be the only one.
The only one, Tommy.
It'll be massive.
Come on.
JD and Tim to look forward to.
It's like the Olympics. There you go. Coming up next, we're going to take a look at the biggest stories making the news. We'll see you back here shortly.
It's time now to take a look at this morning's papers, and we're going to start with the Irish Independent. Its headline, new law to ban flavoured vapes targeting children. Bright-coloured disposable vapes with exotic tobacco flavours will be banned under legislation being drafted by Health Minister Stephen Donnelly in a memo to the Cabinet today.
Cabinet set to scrap Trinity and NUI panels in Shannon. The end of the 3 Trinity College Dublin and 3 National University of Ireland senators in the Shannon is likely to be approved by the Cabinet today, with legislation due to be tabled in the Dáil in the coming weeks. That's from the Irish Times.
The Examiner leads with a GAA land bank could deliver 300 homes. Cork County GAA Board is hoping the approval of planning permission for more than 300 homes on the city's north side could help it wipe out its estimated 30 million debt.
More than 50 cafes and restaurants close every month. Ireland's restaurant sector is witnessing an abnormal level of closures, with more than 50 businesses shutting down every month in the year since the VAT rate was hiked. That's the front of the Daily Mail.
The Mirror goes with, I'm after buttering your one. 41-year-old Matthias Kelly appeared at a Dublin District Court accused of repeatedly stabbing a woman in the neck at her home. In a text, the man said, I'm after buttering your one, a court had heard.
The Sun leads with Jaws of Death. Gangster James Jaws Byrne helped plan a murderous revenge strike after his son David was shot dead at Dublin's Regency Hotel in 2016. Byrne, who died on Saturday, hired a hitman to target innocent John Hutch.
And the Star also leads with that same story, their headline, Jaws wanted Patsy dead. Criminal James Jaw Byrne was the driving force behind the Kinahan cartel's murderous campaign against the Hutch gang.
And finally, the Herald goes with 3 suspected of helping out Delgany hit team. Gardaí have arrested 3 people suspected of providing logistical support to the hit team that targeted a father of 3 in Wicklow last year. Now, in the last few hours, reports have come through of an Israeli strike in the Gaza Strip that has killed at least 40 people. And joining us to discuss this morning and the other stories making the papers is Adam Higgins from the Irish Sun. Good morning to you,
Adam. How are you?
Adam, so this is happening overnight. 40 people dead, 60 people wounded, and following on from the strike on Sunday in Syria as well.
Yeah, the war seems to be intensifying and spreading as opposed to, limiting and coming closer to a ceasefire as we had all hoped. So this latest attack was in an area near Khan Yunis that had been already designated a humanitarian safe zone. So Israel had been there, the military had been there and had designated this is where you can go to be safe, and now 3 rockets have dropped on it overnight. And Israel say they were targeting Hamas militants who were operating in amongst civilians, but a local who was quoted in the papers today and online today talks about how 20 tents that were in the area that people were using to live in have been completely floored and buried in these 3 huge craters that have been created by the rockets.
Like Israel's excuse for it was that yes, there was a command and control centre in the area. That's what they were targeting.
We've seen that time and time again with all the Israel strikes, that they use that to justify it, and they say that they've been using things like aerial surveillance to monitor these areas and limit their attacks on civilians.
And blame Hamas for doing that within the civilian population.
Exactly, yeah. And as Tommy says, this comes on the back of an attack in Syria where it killed 18 people on Sunday. And that was targeting a military research facility that they believe is run by the Iranians. And you can see how this war is starting to spread a bit more quickly out into the rest of the Middle East.
I mean, when you think that there's talks of a ceasefire and things like this happen, it just looks like they're getting further and further apart. And
what is happening with that ceasefire, Adam? Because, you had Biden last week coming out going, they're as close now as they're ever going to be.
And he said things like that for the past few weeks, which I think brought a lot of hope to people. I think people kind of thought the end of this war or a ceasefire, a break in the destruction and the death that we've seen is coming close, but it doesn't seem to be there yet. And the way that those talks are continuing is between the US and other countries that are representing the Middle East. And I think it's probably a long way off when you see attacks like this happening.
Absolutely. The UN chief calling the death and destruction in Gaza the worst he has ever seen. Frightening. Let's move to a story closer to home. It looks like Stephen Donnelly is going to bring in a ban on vapes.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. So this is kind of been well flagged that they were trying to get rid of these disposable vapes. So there's kind of 3 parts to this law that's going to go before the cabinet today, or what he wants to do with this law that he's looking for permission to draft. So the first is to ban those disposable vapes. You'll be aware of them. You see them kind of littered around the place, little plastic things. Once they're finished, they're gone. That's it. There's no refilling them or anything like that.
Smoke coming out.
People talk about the litter nowadays because they are disposable. People finish them and chuck them on the floor. But they're also the bright colours.
That's the other
that
part
really
of this.
attracts young kids
people.
and the flavours.
The exotic flavours.
The flavours is another thing he wants to ban. So you're looking at flavours like blueberry and
tropical
and all this sort of stuff, that they want to get rid of, and also the advertising of them. So this kind of packaging that contains like cartoons, brightly coloured stuff, and he also wants to move them from. You remember before cigarettes had all these restrictions on them. You could see them behind the counter, and that's the way vapes are now. And he wants to move them to a similar place to where cigarettes are, so you can't see them.
They're not visible.
Exactly.
So not banning all vapes, just disposable ones.
And I think there is an argument.
Can you get one that you keep?
Once you keep
refilling it.
Once you keep refilling it, and the argument is that a lot of people have moved from cigarettes to vapes, which they believe might be safer than cigarettes, or might use as a tool, stepping down to get away from cigarettes altogether. And I think the minister's thought around this is that these brightly coloured things and the flavours. I mean, no one's who's been smoking for 20 years is going to go onto cotton candy with a cartoon can on it and try and give it cigarettes.
No, listen, I think it's probably a good thing, because if you're trying to stop young people and people who are going to be taking up smoking and vaping, and you just see it all the time, like these puffs of smoke when they're trying to cut out
it indoors as well. People
Yeah.
feel they can actually vape indoors, and all this smoke is coming out, but it's like,
let us know what you think. 096 111 111. Would you be in support of Stephen Donnelly bringing in this ban on disposable vapes, like even in terms of the litter that it is causing as well? Let's move on to another one about the government here as well. So there's 80 hectares of land coming up in Delgany in County Wicklow, an area of natural beauty, I think. The government are being asked to buy it, as opposed to probably some business person coming in and turning it into a golf course.
That's right. That's the proposal from Jennifer Whitmore, the local TD in the area. And people will be familiar with this piece of land because you can kind of go walking up there. The Glenavon Downs, maybe in the 90s you would have seen the protests up there where people went and lived in the woods to protest against the road being widened. Now, the road was widened and there's a whole load of hiking trails around there, and there's one particular landmark called, known locally as the Octagon. It's kind of like this stone structure there. That's included in the sale here that we're talking about. And the land is up for sale for about 6.5 billion, and the
6.5
billion?
billion. Sorry,
Million.
billion.
No, I was going to say, what? The government won't be buying that.
Celtic Tiger is back.
That'll be some expensive golf course. Yeah. That's
But
the kind of...
they're thinking that if the government don't buy it, we are going to get a golf course or a hotel or something. Something like that, maybe.
That's the
houses,
idea, yeah. So Jennifer Whitmore wants the government to buy this and keep it as kind of a native woodland. We saw the government do this not too long ago at the Connor Pass in Kerry, where they bought the land around there and kept it as a park. And I think maybe it's something this government might consider if there's time left in the government. I mean, this is something I'd know the Green Party would be interested in.
Yeah.
But are they going to be in government long enough to get something like this done?
Because
Simon Harris out that direction and
That's
all.
true, yeah.
It is neck of the woods. Like
yeah.
Ireland's committed to the EU's national nature restoration law, so it's in their interest.
It
and
fits
it's
in with
public
that, I
land.
think,
It's
yeah.
lovely trails. Like I think that's very important that the government do that. So for 6 billion, sure, it's nothing.
Okay, very quickly, it's only September, but yet we're seeing that some Santas are already booked up.
I can't believe
I've got my tickets.
Have
Yeah,
you
for
really?
the family tickets, to go see them in a farm. Yeah, exactly.
No way, wow.
So, when they
Really?
come
You're
and hit-
very organised.
Well, it wasn't me, obviously, who bought them. But but listen, when the Santa's coming to town and the kids are very excited about it, you want to get it booked up quickly.
So Santa's, you will be able to see Santa in lots of places like the Emerald Park, Christmas Bunratty Castle, Santa's Workshop in Ballyvaughan, trips to Lapland.
One of the things I think is interesting about the article on this today is the price difference between some of them. Because, I mean, to bring a family to see Santa in some of those is way up over 100 quid. But if you do a bit of shopping around, you can find places that are in and around, 25 to 30 quid as well. So I think there's a bit of shopping around to be done for the family. There's a bit of shopping around to be done.
over 100. Sure, you can bring the panto for four kids for €99. There you go.
Yeah, but is Santa going to be there? No,
Sammy Sausages is there.
is there as well. Let us know.
Are you booking Santa? Are you booking those things already?
A lot of them are already booked up, sold out already. This is the parents' Oasis tickets. This is the kids' Oasis tickets. Let us know 0896 111 111 about anything we've discussed today. Adam Higgins from the Irish Sun, great to have you with us.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much for that.
Looking at all the places that you can go to bring
was
them.
good though. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And busy man he is. Now coming up next, sporting legend Ellen Keane is going to be here to talk career highs and the honour of being Team Ireland's flag bearer just a few days ago.
Yeah, stay with us. See you in a few minutes.
Hi, you're very welcome back. Now, our next guest, she swam into our hearts when she was just 13 years old at the 2008 Beijing Paralympic Games.
And now, after competing at 5 Paralympic Games, Ellen Keane has announced her retirement from competitive swimming. Good morning, girl. How are you?
Well done.
I'm good.
She's like, it's
I'm
over.
so happy.
Are you?
Yeah. It's been such a long career and I've had such an incredible time and I'm so lucky to have been able to do it. But even in Paris, I peaked in Tokyo and I had the most amazing professional race in Tokyo and I won my gold medal and that's what I'd always dreamt of, was winning my gold medal, and that's where the drive was and the hunger was. And then even just in Paris, I knew I was going to retire. I was very vocal about retirement and I was ready. So when I got to Paris, and even coming forth, I watched the girls around me, I watched the medalists around me, the medalists on my team, and I was like, I don't have the hunger. So I'm not surprised it didn't happen. And even I said it to my boyfriend, I was like, I don't deserve to be on that podium because look at the emotion in those girls. They really, really wanted it. And I just didn't. I'd already done it and I'd already made my peace with it.
Because it's a different mindset, particularly the fact that you'd said, this is my last Paralympic Games. You didn't have the hunger. You're almost going, this is my last, pre-swim meal, my last time training.
100%.
Each one is accounted. This is the last time I get to do this.
Yeah. It was the longest goodbye ever. And it was so lovely.
Yeah.
And I was so fortunate
You get
to be
appreciate
able to do
it. Did you appreciate it?
Really, really, really
and
appreciated
the crowd.
it. Yeah. And I had so many, there they all are. I had so many athletes say to me who had had to retire because of injury or things that were out of their control. Maybe they didn't qualify for their last meet that they wanted to retire at. A lot of people just said, just do it for us. And I was like, oh, Jesus, that's the weight of that. And I did, and I loved it. And to finish, I finished in an event that wasn't my main event.
Yeah.
So my main event was on the Friday, and then I had the 100 backstroke on the Tuesday. And athletes are like, why are you doing the 100 backstroke? You're not a 100 backstroker. And I said, because I can, and because it's a moment for me to really just soak it all in and appreciate the crowd. And I was in the call room. So you go into the call room before you go out into the pool deck. And I was in the call room waiting, and I started to cry. I was just sitting there silently weeping.
Wow.
The girls beside me getting all like riled up, ready to go, and I'm just like, it's all over. So I really did soak it all up.
Because it's, first of all, from us, I think watching you this time as well, it was very poignant and very special for all of us.
Yeah.
And it felt like she's doing this for us, going back out there to kind of go, okay, I'll give it another go. But being in that pool in Paris, like that vibe, that has to have been a nice way to be like, okay, I can return. This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. So, like, competing in Tokyo, it was an empty stadium.
Yeah.
There was no one there. None of my friends or family were there. And then to go from that to Paris, because we haven't had that since Rio. So 2016, it's been 8 years. Like, we haven't had that crowd, that vibe since Rio. And even just day one of being in the pool. So the pool itself is a rugby stadium, if I'm correct, and like concerts and stuff happen there. So it's a temporary structure.
Yeah.
And all the seats were black. There was black curtains. It felt like a stage. It felt like a theatre. And the only thing that was like lit up was the pool. So it was a really, really, really cool venue.
Oh, it's an amazing venue. And I saw a time lapse of how they built the pool on it. Oh, it's unbelievable.
So cool.
Like, to be fair, Paris did it so well.
So well.
Tell me, you were flag bearer as well.
So well. Someone had fun.
Such a good job.
Well, tell us about the closing ceremony, being flag bearer. When do you find out about that, and do you get to celebrate at the end of it?
It was so funny because as soon as I got to the village and I was seeing all my other teammates, and even the opening ceremony, because it's their chef de mission that ultimately decides who gets to carry the flag. Okay. And I just kept being like, I don't care about how I do in the water, I just want NASA to give me that flag. So I was quite vocal with the teammates around it. I didn't actually say it to the chef de mission or any of the staff about it, but it was like...
It was known.
It was
known. You
must
have known. I've been here 5 times, lads.
Guys, come on, 10 ceremonies.
Come on, I was 13. Come on, guys.
What does it take? Yeah. So to be able to do it, like I got told a few days beforehand, NASA called me into her office and just asked me to do it, and I started crying and I had a hug, so it was quite emotional. And then Michael, who's equestrian, and I did it with him. He even, right before we went to the stadium for the closing ceremony, he was like, it's really a real honour to be able to do this with you. And I was like, stop. And because he's in a wheelchair, he can't hold the flag itself. So a lot of the time when you're doing the flag bearing with someone in a wheelchair, they might strap it to the chair so that it's just the chair is kind of holding it rather than the people. And he said to me, I'd love you to carry it because it's kind of like for you. And I was like, no, we're going to figure out how to do this ourselves. So while all the other athletes were like coming into the stadium, getting settled, all the flag bearers were kind of around the back in the glamorous section where all the deliveries are. Nice. So we were just in the tunnels waiting, and me and Michael were practicing how are we going to do this. So we figured if I balance it on his chair, then he can still hold on while I hold on. And how do we do a little wave? And it was really, really lovely because when we walked out, we had no idea where Team Ireland were sitting.
Okay.
But we knew straight away because we heard them, we saw them. All the other countries were just kind of gently clapping away. The Team Ireland were going bananas at us. And it was lashing rain and everyone was in their ponchos, so it was actually kind of hard to see the green of the kit, but we could see them because of how bonkers they were going, and it was so lovely. We stopped mid stage to give them a wave, and we actually got like ushered on. So it was really lovely.
The Irish know how to party.
Yeah. We wanted our moment, and we took our moment.
And you took it, and you deserved it. Like after everything, and of course, there's going to be so much chat about what it is that you're going to do next. You're tired. You've been sleeping. You're just home. She hasn't even seen the dogs yet. She was saying, but you're back working today. You're like obviously over. Since you've been 13 years of age, you have been at the highest level of athletics in the world, of swimming in the world. So what do you make of what's happening, we'll say, in Ireland, of people from all disabilities? And I know that you're working on certain things, that is 1 in 5 girls are dropping out of sport.
Yeah.
Which is something you've been talking about for a very long time, trying to keep women in sport.
Yeah, it's really, really sad. And I know that, like, the person I am today is because of sport. And women and girls and boys, everyone goes through kind of like the transition from being a child to being an adult, where you're having all of those emotions, all those hormones, all those feelings, all those thoughts, all those questions about yourself, and your body is changing. And it's a really, really hard time. And the only reason I was able to get through that and come out the other end as a confident person was because of sport. And I really learned to love my body and appreciate my body because of sport. And especially being someone with a disability, it can be quite dangerous for someone like me if we don't get involved in sport, because we don't know how to train our bodies, how to keep our bodies strong. And even going into retirement now, that's something that I'm going to have to make sure I keep up, because I could lose my posture, I could get weaker, I could become more disabled because I've not looked after my body. And I don't think people realise that by being involved in sport, by making sure that you're staying active, you're looking after your mind, you're looking after your health, but you're also looking after your mobility and your body, so that when you are older and even like into your 80s, you could be impacted because of the sport that you did when you were younger.
Like, it is frightening, because I'm just thinking my own daughter, yes, stop the drop. To try, because sport is such a big part of her life, and then to see 1 in 4, 1 in 5 drop out. So it is a case of just encouraging.
It's encouraging, but it's
like
also,
we both know, we all know how important sport is for so many different areas, not just what's happening on the pitch.
But just put me in the same level. I'll take it. Put me in the same level as the two of you.
On a sport too.
I think you and I, Tommy, are so fortunate because we found the sport that we loved. Yeah. And I think that could possibly be one of the reasons that people are dropping out so much, is because they haven't found the sport that they love. And there's a sport out there for everyone. It mightn't be the standard GAA or football or rugby or athletics or running or swimming that a lot of people are doing. But just look at the Olympics. Look at all the different sports that we just saw. Look at the Paralympics. There's so many options out there. And I think in the schools at the moment, they haven't fully embraced all the different types of sports. And I think people, parents and teachers need to kind of keep an eye out, because post-Olympics, post-Paralympics, there's a lot of talent ID searches, there's a lot of sport ID things. Now, I don't know if that's in the pipeline yet, but there are opportunities every year where different NGBs host ID and talent events where you can go and you can try things out. And I think it's just, you need to find what you love, and there's no point, like, you're not going to stay in a sport you don't love, because it's a lot of commitment and it's really
You're
tiring.
absolutely right.
And now you're going to have to try so many things you love after you retire. One of them, I think, is going to be sitting here.
Exactly.
Is what Ellen's going to be doing in the future. Definitely, she's ready to go.
My butt print is
made for it. Absolutely made for it. But listen, enjoy the time off, because you know you have put so much into the last how many bloody years?
An actual legend. Unbelievable. 5 Paralympics.
It's absolutely incredible. Enjoy the time off. I'm really excited to see what's next in the next chapter for you.
Thanks, Ellen. We'll talk to you soon. We'll be back with you on IrelandAM in just a minute.
This week on IrelandAM, we've teamed up with Expressway.ie to give you the chance to win an amazing prize of a 2-night bed and breakfast stay with select hotels, including an evening meal and a gift box. Do you plan on taking a city break to do some shopping or a day trip with a family member or friend? Make sure to always check departure times, arrive on time, and don't forget to use your free travel pass if you're eligible. It's just the ticket to enjoy more with Expressway.ie. For your chance to win this great prize, just text or call the numbers on screen and answer this question. In transport, the schedule of departure times is known as A. Timetable, or B. Bus table. To enter, call 1550 999 333 or text WIN to 57199. Best of luck.
There you have it now. Very best of luck.
Take a look at this morning's papers. We'll start with the Irish Independent. Its headline: New law to ban flavoured vapes targeting children. Bright coloured disposable vapes with funky tobacco flavours will be banned under legislation being drafted by Health Minister Stephen Donnelly in a memo to the Cabinet going there today.
Cabinet set to scrap Trinity and NUI panels in Shannon. The end of the 3 Trinity College Dublin and 3 National University of Ireland senators in the Shannon is likely to be approved by the Cabinet today, with legislation due to be tabled in the Dáil in the coming weeks. That's the front of the Irish Times.
The Examiner leads with GAA Land Bank could deliver 300 homes. Cork County GAA Board is hoping the approval of planning permission for more than 300 homes on the city's north side could help wipe out its estimated 30 million debt.
More than 50 cafes and restaurants close every month. Ireland's restaurant sector is witnessing an abnormal level of closures, with more than 50 businesses shutting their doors every month in the year since the VAT rate was hiked. That's the front of the Daily Mail.
Sad story there. And another sad story, the Mirror going with, I'm after butchering your one. 41-year-old Matthias Kelly appeared at a Dublin District Court accused of repeatedly stabbing a woman in the neck at her home. In a text, the man said, I'm after butchering your one, a court was told.
The Sun leads with Jaws of Death. Gangster James Jaws Byrne helped plan a murderous revenge strike after his son David was shot dead at Dublin's Regency Hotel in 2016. Byrne, who died on Saturday, hired a hitman to target innocent John Hutch.
The Star also leads with the same story. Their headline, Jaws wanted Patsy dead. Criminal James Jaws Byrne was the driving force behind the Kinahan cartel's murderous campaign against the Hutch gang.
Finally, the Herald goes with 3 suspected of helping out Dalgany hit team. Gardaí have arrested 3 people suspected of providing logistical support to the hit team that targeted a father of 3 in Wicklow last year. Now, we've got some text coming through on the vape, the ban of vapes that Stephen Donnelly's talking about.
Yeah, in the front of the papers today. Have you ever vaped? No, but you've smoked. I've never smoked.
I've tried someone had a strawberry.
Smoked.
Oh yeah, well this
like
is the
strawberry stuff. I was like, what is this? Like, what's going on here?
Did it taste nice though?
No,
Did it taste
really. Like, it was
strawberry?
like just have a hubba bubba.
Oh right,
Yeah, like it was very, very, very,
well,
very,
you can
very
see why
strong.
it would encourage young people who never smoked to kind of go sure I'll vape.
Well, Emma says here, I am praying that this vape ban comes into effect ASAP. My 22-year-old daughter, who never smoked and only drinks on special occasions, started vaping over a year ago, and she's now addicted. She has compromised lungs as a child. I'm terrified what the chemicals and toxins in these vapes are doing to her. Yet she says that everyone is doing it, and certainly inside, like I'd be talking to, I don't want to give anything away, but some teenagers I know, and they're all like vaping in the vaping all over school, like in the toilets. It's just everyone's there vaping all the time.
So it's just banning the disposable ones.
Yeah.
So say for that girl who, if she's getting addicted to it, she can just buy the rechargeable ones. But hopefully this will try and stop more young people using it.
Would they not just all go and buy the ones that you have all the time?
Well, they would, but they're not.
Too expensive.
Don't have the flavours.
Like the disposable ones are cheap as chips. Lee, I was on a plane recently. The man beside me was sitting for the first hour vaping, blowing the smoke into his top so it couldn't be seen. You could barely smell it. Definitely perception out there that it's okay to use vapes anywhere.
That drives me mad. If you're standing inside now and they just feel that they can do it.
And you breathe it in.
But these massive puffs of smoke are coming out of them. And you're inside of maybe a restaurant or a pub or something. You just go, lads, take it outside.
Yeah. Let us know. 0896 111 111. What do you think of it? People vaping inside?
Liam said there are people now vaping that never smoked. People in their 30s and 40s are not kids. Ban disposables. They're littered.
They're littered everywhere. They're absolutely everywhere. Now, you were talking about Santa experiences. Lucy
is booked.
We've got the book. Farm booked, yeah. Take the kids at Christmas. Santa's going to be very busy this Christmas, so it's important to get in and get your tickets early. And it looks like there's lots of places in Ireland are booking up quickly, but it is pretty expensive.
Yeah, because Mary says we actually booked Santa this weekend as bookings were filling up. It cost us around 100 quid for a family of 4, but we've got 3 adults in the booking. They're charging us 40 each while the child is 25. It's just crazy. So hold on, so that's 120, that's 144.
Yeah.
Right. €145, isn't it?
That's what it would cost, yeah. Now, to be fair, some of the experiences that they put on are unbelievable. Like, there's train rides and there's elves and, it's amazing. Like, or else you can just go to the Panto.
2-hour show.
Which is amazing as well.
€99 ticket for 4. There you go.
Absolutely. Jobs are good. And all the jokes and Sammy sausage there as well make you laugh.
No, but I mean...
He's going to make sausages out of this.
It's like you going through the woods and you're on a little train and then that brings you up to see Santa and all that type of thing.
Big time, yeah.
So it's not just
I know, it's not
arrive
just
at a thing.
go to the shopping centre and seeing Santa inside a little room. No. No.
If it was, we'd all be doing it.
Exactly. Let us know what you think about that. Have you got your tickets to see Santa yet? Or are you talking about banning vapes? Love to hear from you.
Or this, what's next?
111. So where do you come in your family and what does it say about you? Are the oldest, the youngest, in the middle?
So in this family, eldest, middle, youngest.
Youngest, yeah.
Anyway, we're going to be talking birth order theory after this short break.
See you in a few minutes.
Welcome back to IrelandAM. Now, in the 1920s, it was discovered that the order in which we are born can affect our personalities. The theory, it is a theory, has gained traction online with the hashtag birth order in relationships, having millions of posts.
Yes, here to discuss a birth order theory and how it affects our lives is self-development coach Karen Molan. Good morning.
Morning,
to you.
Karen.
Morning, guys.
Right, so we've all heard before, you're the oldest, firstborn, went to lead the way, then the youngest, and they're kind of the baby of the group and stuff as well. So explain to us where a birth order theory comes.
Okay, so birth order theory was developed by Dr. Alfred Adler back in the early 20th century. And the theory says that depending on where your birth order position is, you'll have certain personality traits. But, and this is the big but, where a lot of the TikTokers miss, is that there are certain factors which affect which birth order you go into.
Okay.
So it's not a simple ordinal position. Just because you're born first doesn't make you an eldest. There's a couple of things at play that come into effect first. So you could be, the example I always use, right, this might make it easy to understand, is if you're the firstborn boy in your family, right, and being a boy is a big deal in the family, right? Yeah. See, yeah, you get it. You understand what I'm talking about, right? And he's prized. And if that boy happens to have what we call an Irish mammy, right? As in, he can do no wrong, sun, moon and stars shine out of him.
Fairly global, fabulous. I think, for sons, to be fair.
I think the Irish mammies and the Jewish mammies do it best,
right?
Where they're my son, there's nothing greater than my son, right? And say the next child, 3 years later, another child arrives and it's a girl, right? That boy may never become a psychological eldest. He may be ordinally the eldest, as in the firstborn, excuse me, but he may not become a psychological eldest.
Because he's been mammied.
Because he's been mammied.
Yeah.
So he could technically stay at youngest or an only, and the girl could become the psychological eldest.
Gotcha.
Can you describe, though, what does it mean to be an eldest or
We
a
do, yeah, the
middle or a
stereotypicals,
youngest?
yeah.
What are the stereotypes?
Stereotypical eldest are they're bossy and dominant.
Okay.
You know, they're the ones who give out to all the other children in the family, like, pick up your shoes, put it away. For girls, it's often like they're like a second mammy, right? But
like
in
a
actual
leader-y
fact,
kind of.
but in actual fact, there's other traits, right? So an eldest can also have great leadership abilities.
Okay.
They're usually very protective and super organised. So the eldest is the one who's putting all the stuff together for the picnic and remembers that we need to bring sunscreen.
Yeah.
You know,
very
that's
good.
the eldest.
Okay.
Right, middle.
Then middle.
The middle then is often the one who feels squeezed by life. You know, they're often the one who goes, that's unfair, right? But when they say it's unfair, they're talking from an injustice point of view. So
Okay.
an example would be, you know, you have 3 kids in the back seat of the car.
Yeah.
The middle is always in the middle seat.
Yeah.
I never get the window.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And they'll go, that's unfair. But if you listen to them, which rarely happens because at that point in the family, the rest of them are going, they're complaining again. And now, they do this.
Okay.
So then that middle child, if you listen to them, will say, I think we should all take turns, have a turn at sitting at the window so that it's fair.
Right.
Oh,
So it's
they're
an
good at
injustice
playing to
fair.
everybody.
Middles are the greatest mediators you'll ever meet. They're the greatest peacemakers you'll ever meet. And they are social masters.
Okay.
Thinking about my middle, she is not the greatest peacemaker you'll ever meet. Okay, so and then
Because she may not be using that trait.
what's the stereotype youngest?
Young's pampered.
Pampered.
Babied.
That was quick.
Yeah, spoilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's pretty accurate.
It can be.
Are they a bit of a disaster?
Also, A bit of a
like
pain
not
in the neck.
organised?
They can be disorganised. They can be very... I'm going to be very careful what I say now.
No, you're fine.
They can be very disorganised. They can also be very tenacious, right? So they will, if they're having difficulty in learning something, they will stay with it if they're encouraged to until they learn it.
Quite
Pampered,
affectionate.
Very
Everything.
affectionate, yeah. The youngest also, the flip side of being a pampered youngest is being the CEO youngest. So if you have older siblings who take an interest in you and encourage you, or your parents encourage you, to give it a go, have a try. Because remember, you're the youngest in the family. Everybody else knows how to do everything. You're only learning.
Yeah.
So you can feel incapable a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So if you get parents who encourage you to give it a go, or siblings, especially siblings who encourage you to give it a go, then they step into kind of like a CEO youngest, where they think they're in charge of everything.
But all of these things are definitely ringing true, right? When you think about your families, you're like, that kind of does make sense. It's natural. What about when it comes to relationships? Because this is where it's really kind of taken off online as to how people should be mixed in relationship, regardless of your sexuality, that your birth order has an effect.
It does. It really does. Yeah. It does, but I'm going to put a caveat on it, okay? You have to work out your birth order position accurately first, okay?
Okay.
Just because you're born first doesn't make you an eldest.
Okay.
You could be a youngest, right?
Yeah.
So that's just the first caveat. If you have it worked out, and say you have two people who are eldest together in a relationship, there's going to be a continuous striving for dominance as to which one's in charge.
Okay.
Right? Now, that's an issue if there's an argument, and the argument is coming from something that is their core values.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? So I talk about a couple who came to me the whole time. They sent their son to me because he was in trouble, right? He had taken a day off. He'd taken 1 day off school, mitched a day off school with his friends, got caught. Right? Because they posted on social media where they were. Yeah. And, you know, like he was
they're not the brightest.
No, that's what they should be worried about.
13-year-olds, like, you know, thinking they're clever. But anyway, school found out, blah, blah, blah. It was handled.
Okay.
But the parents were arguing about this, and it went on for months.
Okay.
And they rang me and said, can you talk to our son? There's an issue. And I spoke to the son for about 15 minutes, and I went, can you go sit in the car while I talk to your parents?
So eldest and eldest.
Theirs.
Okay, what about youngest and youngest?
Youngest and youngest is just like an absolute and utter disaster if it's not done well. Sorry.
Byrne. So why is...
He's setting you up, Mary,
why
isn't
is
he?
youngest and youngest an absolute disaster?
I'm sorry, Maren.
Go on,
He's so
explain
mean
more.
to you.
No, I was reading this last night, and I was reading it out to my
just-
partner, and he just went, "Oh no,
Let's just tick
we
these
should
off here
probably
quickly.
break
You want
up."
a list, don't you, Tommy, of the
tick,
things?
tick, tick, go on.
I'm not going to give him ammunition to use.
No,
against
but it is. It's disorganised chaos.
It's disorganised chaos. It's really bad at planning stuff, and you have to be very careful around the financials because things can you can forget to pay bills.
So if you're wanting to buy a house, like, I mean, it's really good to work together. What about middle and middle?
Oh, poor Maren. I'm so sorry. It's okay. I'm going to pick on him.
Middle and middle are no good either, though.
Middle and middle, they're not great because what happens with the middle is they tend to hold on to their emotions inside.
Okay.
Right, and they don't express them.
Okay.
And then that can end up in huge resentments.
Oh, wow, right.
So when there's an argument, then the middle will bring up stuff you did on your first date with them.
Oh,
They'll bring up, and you remember 5 years ago, you said to my mother, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
You know,
so maybe we should just be crossing the board. Youngest with eldest, all that kind of
So
stuff.
it's youngest with eldest. Middles go with everybody except other middles.
Oh, right.
Youngest with eldest with youngest, and onlys are great with eldest as well.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Only childs. Did they just have a mix of everyone's traits?
They're more like the eldest than anybody else, and they can, if they're spoiled as an only child, they can be like a youngest, but they tend to be sort of like the eldest but on steroids.
Okay.
Right, where they need a lot of structure, routine. An only child is the one who will tell you exactly how many minutes it takes for the car to leave the house to get to school.
Okay, because there's increasing only children, I suppose, in Ireland.
Yeah.
What are you?
And that's increasing anxiety as well.
Oldest and youngest. You work perfectly together.
Perfect.
Of
Well,
course,
don't
he's the
think so.
perfect couple.
Don't think so.
My God.
But I'm not technically an oldest.
Yeah. No, you're not. You may not be, actually. Listen to what we were listening to earlier
more
this
like an
morning. I think you might
youngest.
be a youngest. But if you have a couple who are an eldest and eldest, or middle and youngest, if they learn to communicate through their traits, then that can work. But it will always be, we need to work on communication.
Very interesting. Let us know what's your situation at home. 0896 111 111. The birth order theory. There you go. Making a lot of sense.
Yes. Karen Mullen, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Shout out.
Thanks for staying with us. Now it's time for some baking brilliance.
Oh, wow.
It's always baking brilliance. Open fruit and apple pie. Pause.
Good morning to you, Catherine Lady.
Yes.
Good morning, boys.
The
How are
Queen
we?
is here.
Oh, she's here, all right.
All right.
Now, here we have peeled, cored and sliced 3 to 4 eating apples. And in there as well, I put about 4 ounces of fruits of the forest, as I said, the frozen variety.
All right.
And they take them out about 15 minutes before you're going to make them. They cook away through,
yeah.
Now, as I say, pick blackberries as well and just use 4 ounces or 125 grams of blackberries in it.
Okay.
And For that, or to that rather, I'm going to add my 50 grams, that's 2 ounces of brown sugar. I'm going to add the rind of a lemon and the juice of a lemon. So you get a nice kick.
Now, would
filling.
an open fruit and apple pie, would that be a regular would you see that? Where would you get that? I normally just...
Bit of artisan. Bit artisan-y, yeah.
Artisan-y.
No, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Look at your man laughing. Where would you get that?
Where would you get that?
You get it at home.
Where would you get that now, love?
An open pie.
An open
A pie is different to a tart, yeah.
Okay.
Now, to that, we're going to add the juice of the lemon. So in there we have the filling, right? Now we're going to make the pastry. 275 grams of plain flour. Okay. And we're going to sieve that into the bowl. Because to get a nice light pastry, it's important that you sieve the flour through. And then I'm going to rub into that my 5 ounces of butter or margarine. And we just...
Room temperature?
Best if it's cold, actually.
Oh.
This has gone a bit soft, but anyway, it won't affect...
Right. Because for scones and all you want it
room
to...
temperature, yeah.
Scones.
Now, tips of your fingers.
All right.
Lift the mixture. Now, don't spend all day at this, because if you do, you're going to end up with a tough pastry.
Okay.
This is just a basic
nice
short
and
crust
light,
pastry.
yeah.
Half butter or marge to flour.
And why would you not put a top on it? Is there a reason why you don't have the
Speed.
Oh, it's just speed, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
To get it into the oven.
It's called
and
an
out.
open
And
pie.
why would you have an open pie, though? I don't get it. Like,
Be different.
yeah, it'd just be different.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's much easier to do, as you'll see. Yeah. So now, having done that...
No, I'm not. I'm
You're
just
trying to
wondering.
complicate matters, Alan, is he? Now, we're just going to combine the filling. Now, remember there we have the sugar, the cinnamon, the fruit and the apple.
That's lovely.
And now we're going to add the water. And as I've said before, gradually add the water because you can't take it out.
Going off Googling now. Open.
He's not.
He's gone off
Tommy.
Googling. Open apple tarts. Open pies.
You've heard of open sandwiches?
Yeah.
Same theory.
I don't get them either, though. I don't get...
He wants a chunk of bread on top of it.
Yeah, I'm like, why the hell would I order an open sandwich?
You don't want
Makes
to.
no sense.
It's missing a slice of bread.
You don't want 2 slices of bread.
No, I just don't get it. Honestly, it's so annoying, though, isn't it? Get an open sandwich.
Yeah. Now, there's the pastry, quickly prepared.
Very
We're
nice.
going to roll that out now.
Lovely.
And you'll see what I mean by speed.
That is speedy, yeah.
That is actually so quick and easy, isn't it?
Very simple, yeah. Now you roll it out about an inch or 2 larger than the Pyrex dish. I went a bit heavy there on the flour, but...
Yeah.
Yes, yes, as the expert.
But sure, listen, don't worry about that now.
How we get over that, yeah.
Will you leave Catherine alone?
I'm not. Sorry, Catherine.
Don't worry, Tommy.
Oh, God.
I'm well used to
I'm
you all
very
at this
excited
stage.
for it, though. It's always my favourite part of the day.
Is it? Now, here we go, look.
Now, obviously, you have to leave a good bit around the outside of the tart, no?
Around the edge, yeah, like that.
Because you have to
Put in
sort
the
of bring
filling.
it up to cover bits of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you got that, Tommy? Alan has.
Alan is all over it.
No, yeah, because it's going
Look
to
at
come
that.
up.
Now, that's lovely.
Oh.
Gorgeous. Now,
So as you said, you don't mind them coming out if they're frozen?
not at all.
Not at all.
They cook. You know, this takes
yeah.
about...
Oh, some knobs of butter in here now.
Then just to
Okay.
Soften it up.
What's that for now?
just get a nice shiny top on it.
Oh, I see.
And a bit of sauce with it.
Okay.
Now all you do then is just roughly pile the pastry, and that's open, Tommy. Right? Up like that.
Look at that. And, like, it's not to, like, let the air out, or, like,
Not
there's
at all,
not
it's just
method in, like, our thought.
Something
No,
basic,
just-
something simple.
Ah, okay, right.
So now we're going to take
It's
them
like
out of the
a
oven.
convertible tart.
Oh, convertible tart.
What are you talking about?
Oh, look at this.
Now, look. Oh,
Right.
Bit burnt on top, Alan.
bit of burning on the
Little
top.
bit on top. Now,
That's lovely, though.
what we do now is
Bubbles and gone.
we take a bit of honey and you just brush the top.
Okay.
Is that honey?
Yeah, a bit of honey on top.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Would you normally let that cool now, Catherine?
Yeah, it's going to be very hot for you. Lads.
Yeah, no, but you'd take it out before you even put the honey on.
No, I'd let it. No, I put the honey on while it's hot, Alan.
And
so
then
the honey soaks into it.
And then let it cool
leave
away.
It for a while, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Now, give me over your plates there, lads.
Jamie, Mac.
And then you have a choice of
I'll have custard. I'll have custard.
Right.
Cream.
And ice cream.
Oh,
and
wow.
ice cream.
Cheapers, right, out of all three.
So now you're off.
Right. So an open fruit and apple pie.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Preferably with blackberries this time of the year.
Yeah, of course.
Now this is very, very
It's
hot.
going to be very hot, yeah. Here, careful.
Oh, it hit the deck.
Have you got a proper thing? Oh, yeah. Oops.
That lovely juice. Go on, you devil, you. Give me over the other plate, quick. I've 20 seconds left.
Catherine.
Stop.
Tommy, do you want custard?
Oh, yes, please. Some custard there.
Custard?
Yes,
or
thank
ice
you.
cream.
Oh, and ice cream, yeah.
Want ice cream?
No, that'll do. That's lovely. Thank you.
Do you want cream? Do you want cream?
No.
Stop that, you dare.
Do you want ice cream?
Here.
Yeah, please.
Use that, use hot.
Oh, no!
Anyway.
The spoon is hot, it'll get it out for you.
Catherine Leyden.
So there we have our
you.
open pie. I might convert Tommy to open pie.
Our convertible pie.
You like
Thank
it?
you very much. It's absolutely
very hot.
beautiful. I prefer this any day to an open sandwich anyway. So thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Catherine, I'm going to taste it now.
Good.
I'm going to save it for me custard. Star as always.
Oh, thank you, darling.
So much. Now after the break, we catch up with Deric from Full Islands. See you in a few minutes.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Now, last year's Big Beach Clean saw volunteers collect and remove 46 tonnes of litter from beaches across the country. That's the equivalent weight of 12 hippos. Hippos, you got that right. Deric is catching up with some of the volunteers ahead of this year's Big Beach Clean. Not a hippo in sight yet, Deric, right?
Absolutely, Myrne. Welcome down here to a very windy Bull Island. It's very windy, isn't it?
It is. Fresh all right.
It's fresh all right. Anyway, we're down here with all the gang from Clean Coast Ireland, some of the students from St Paul's, Raheny as well. Richard, first up, tell us about Clean Coast and what you do.
So Clean Coast, what we do is we work with coastal communities and we empower communities to make a positive impact on their local environment. So we estimate around 2,000 groups dotted all around the coastline, and this is everything from clubs to societies to kind of like community groups to kind of businesses and stuff like that.
Richard, they do fantastic work keeping the place clean, don't they?
They do. It's amazing. It's so it's inspiring. Like that's one thing. It's a bit of a dream job. You get to work with these really positive, empowering communities, and they're always making such a positive impact on the local environment.
Obviously, litter and plastic still a major issue right up and down our coast.
Yes, it is. Unfortunately, now this weekend we have the Big Beach Clean, a big call to action, and we're going to see what litter items are coming up on our beaches and that. So last year the most common item was food wrappings or plastic wrappings and things like that. Then it was cigarette butts, plastic bottles and kind of plastic caps off bottles as well.
Yeah, now obviously you mentioned your big beach cleanup. It's kicking off this weekend and you're looking for thousands of people to get involved.
Yeah. So far we've over 450 groups registered for the Big Beach Clean, and that's estimated around 12,000 volunteers. So the more we get involved, the better. So if you want to find out more, you just register on cleancoast.org and you can find out all the details there.
Now, off the back of that then, you're obviously going to analyse the litter as well, and it's going to be sent off.
Yes. So we work with an international organisation called Ocean Conservancy, and what we do is we upload all the data litter surveys to them, and then that they generate a global report. But we also do a report in Ireland as well in relation to it. But this is really critical because we're able to find out what's coming up on our beaches, and that helps to influence policy, but it also helps to influence our campaigns.
And you were mentioning earlier on fishing nets, still a massive issue as well, especially around southern coast as well.
Yeah, you can see some fishing nets there. They're still a big issue. In last year's Big Beach Clean with the data litter surveys in the south, fishing litter was the top item.
Top item, and of course that destroys habitats, but also wildlife as well.
It does, yeah. So They're estimated from marine litter, which includes fish netting, around 1 million seabirds die each year from ingestion and strangulation, and then over 100,000 marine mammals.
And also you've plastic pollution, then you've microplastics and the fish eating the microplastics then and going into our food chain.
Exactly. So it's not so much it's not so much as breakdown, it's more so the break up and break into nanoplastics and microplastics, and then they enter into the marine food web and then it works way up along the chain.
Oh. Anyway, Joan, let's talk about some of the plastics that we found here in the beach. And first up, I suppose cigarette butts, still a massive issue, aren't they?
Absolutely. They're tiny, but they do take up to 12 years to degrade fully. And obviously parts of the cigarette, the paper part will biodegrade and the tobacco part will biodegrade, but the filter part is the part that's going to stay around for a long, long time.
And I mean, we've been around the beach here this morning and they are everywhere, aren't they?
They're everywhere. Everywhere where a car parks, everywhere where people walk. They're there.
Okay, next up, toys and plastic toys. Let's talk about these ducks, because these ducks, tell us the story about them.
Okay, in 2006 there was a charity duck race down the River Liffey, 150,000 ducks, and this is a good looking one, right? And this was at sea for obviously the 18 years between 2006 and now, but this one here was buried in sand, and as you can see on the back the number is visible. And on the front, on the chest part, you can still see the date, 2006, and the name of the charity involved.
So this is duck 53,224. There was 150,000 released down the Liffey.
Absolutely, 150,000, and they had a barrage to stop the ducks going into Dublin Bay. However, a ship went through the barrage, and then they all. But one of these was found last year in Scotland, I think in Fife, 432 miles away, found in July last year, and still visible.
Let's talk about vapes. These are now the new scourge, aren't they?
As well as containing plastic, vapes also contain a battery, so they shouldn't be discarded, they should be recycled, and unfortunately vape users are not doing that. So I believe from recent media reports that there may be attempts made to to make them illegal, to ban them.
To ban them, yeah.
And
obviously they've got lithium in them as well, which is very, very toxic.
And just the thing about lithium but the thing about plastic just takes so long to biodegrade. I have this.
And what have you got there? That's a marathon bar.
A marathon bar, which Marathon was the brand pre-Snickers, and this I'm holding on to this because it actually has the date. This is a best before 1987.
1987.
Every single part of it is visible. So this wasn't at sea for the entire time. It probably got washed up and buried under sand, and we found it.
I hate to see that. Joanna, what have you got here in your bag? Because you were busy doing a beach clean up this morning.
Typical stuff like lids, pieces of plastic, even a bit of a hairbrush. We found a pair of Crocs, perfectly wearable pair of Crocs. Somebody must have left behind.
And all this stuff in the last half hour on the beach when we were doing our clean up.
Yeah, very quickly you'd get a bag full, like lots of just bits of plastic bags buried under the sand that people left behind.
And all this, I mean, this stuff just should be avoidable. You do a lot of work with Raheny
Tidy Village group,
yes. And I suppose you stopped the litter from coming from the town side onto the beach.
Yeah, stop it blowing down onto the beach, stop stuff going into the drains, things like cigarette butts that you'd see all around the drains, to stop them going down to the beach. And then, there's a small coast along as well where there'd be a path and that we would try and keep clean, stop the stuff blowing into the sea.
And you've a lot of volunteers working with you?
Yeah, there's a good strong group of probably over 30 volunteers that go out once or twice a week, and then we have additional volunteers. We were always looking for new members.
Including John. John, pop up here, because John, you're the TY coordinator with St Paul's.
That's right, yeah.
Secondary school, and all the guys down here this morning.
Yeah, these are great guys now. They'll do anything to get out of class, but we've linked in with Donal over the last few years and the Bull and Laxa group, and this is one of the events we could kind of run during COVID at social distancing, if you like. So we just kind of kept it up, but a couple of times a term now we'll have classes down here. We teach an environmentalism module in the school, so it ties in lovely with that.
Right. Great initiative. Where can we find out more online, Richard?
So log on to cleancoast.org, and all the details there for the big beach clean, or even if you want to get involved after it.
All right, thanks a million to all our volunteers here this morning, all the rubbish that was picked up here on the beach down at Bull Island from me and all the crew. Back to you in the studio. I cannot believe those ducks.
Great job, Deric. You know what I was saying? Because I go walking down there sometimes and people, they pick up their dog poo in the little plastic bags, but then there's a whole area of the plastic bags just been thrown into one corner. Surely that's going to be, isn't that better to...
At the bin? No.
Yeah. With the... With the poo.
Catherine Layden.
Catherine, yeah.
Catherine Layden.
Can't relax, Catherine.
Well, I can't believe that marathon bar. How old is that and the perfect condition it is? Just shows how
it's better to leave the dog poo. That will disintegrate rather than put it into the bag.
That won't do anything.
Well, the bag is meant to disintegrate as well, but I think it's dangerous if dog poo gets in, like, could get in someone's eyes, can cause real bad damage and stuff.
Why are they trying to
particularly
So
someone's shoe.
Sorry, everyone behind the camera is now going, why is Tommy talking about poo in people's eyes?
Well,
no, because
true.
you could be in a wheelchair.
Dangerous.
You could be
going in a
wheelchair and you could be rolling in dog poo. Anyway.
Okay. We were very enthralled by that, Deric.
Put it in the bin. Don't be throwing it in
Deric did an amazing thing and we've ruined it, basically.
No,
what we're saying here. Coming up in the next hour, we're going to be talking to a circus performer. She's going to be talking about her debut show, which is called Malignant Humour.
How to boost immunity for children coming into flu season.
And we get the latest in luxury designer denim.
Talk to you in a minute. Keep the poo away.
This week on IrelandAM, we've teamed up with the Panelling Centre, Ireland's leading destination for quality kitchens, wardrobes and appliances, to give one lucky viewer an amazing prize. With 7 branches across Ireland offering free design consultations, online or in store, we're giving you the chance to win the kitchen of your dreams. For a chance to win a full kitchen makeover worth €20,000, simply answer this question. Which one of these materials is suitable as a kitchen worktop? A. Copper or B. Granite? To enter, call 1550 999 200 or text PRIZE to 57199. Best of luck.
There you have it. The best of luck. What was that, Alan?
Nothing. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Lots of texts coming in throughout the morning. Now, we were talking at the back, the Minister for Health, Stephen Donnelly, pushed to, it's going to Cabinet today, where he's going to ban disposable vapes. And lots of you getting in touch with us over this. And Eugene says, hate the vapes. Walked out of a shop door just as a girl turned and blew a massive cloud of foul-smelling smoke right into my face. Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, you were saying that as well. Yeah, whenever you're inside a restaurant
I just don't understand why people can't stand outside as well with the vapes. And I know they're going to say it's not cigarettes, but they are basically.
Yeah,
when they're blowing that around.
What's in them, what toxins
you don't
and
know.
stuff are coming out of it as well.
You know,
I think
it's just. I just find it.
I think when the Minister
rude.
for Health is banning, and also Deric's down at the beach talking about litter and talking about all these things that they're picking up, and people are having to go out there and spend their own time picking up other people's rubbish.
Yeah.
Like those disposable vapes are serious for being just thrown and discarded.
It's a home run for Stephen Donnelly.
Yeah,
like if the Health Minister is looking for anything, this is it.
Why is it taking so long?
And why do people do it? Like just the rubbish whole thing. Like on my drive-in yesterday to go home, somebody had obviously gone to a fast food restaurant, had eaten it in the car, and the whole thing they just threw out on the side of the road on the window. The cartons, the drinks cartons.
While driving?
Yep. Just threw it out,
In
like
front
had
of you?
finished it. And obviously it just happened like a few seconds before.
Would you drive after them and pull them up on it?
No, because if people are going to do that, I'd be scared of the type of people that they might be.
I know someone who did it this summer, saw someone dumping on a beach, and she went driving after them for quite a long time, and then got her passenger to take a picture of them, went into the guards and reported them. And she's going to be.
Would the guards do something?
The guards were delighted. They said, if we call you up into court, because they jumped on a beach. It was gross.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And they said, if you're going to, they said, if we call you, will you do it? And she said, I will be there. I will be there whenever you need me.
It's a lack
and
of
they
respect.
are, prosecuting them.
Wonderful.
As far as I know.
No, but I might have. I wouldn't have thought of that. But I actually went out then and I picked it all up and put it in my bin.
Did you?
Well done.
Good on you. Fair play to you for doing that. But you shouldn't have to do that.
No, but I'm just saying.
Should be
I don't. But
like
it's people's mentality. They're sitting there in their car, probably with the family, and they finish the thing and they just open the window and throw it out.
But you walk like
he throws away his glasses.
Dublin, you walk through towns and people are just discarding stuff everywhere.
But you're noticing on motorways, aren't you? A lot.
There should be more bins. They need more bins everywhere, but that's another issue too.
County councils around the country, more bins,
Absolutely.
please.
But anyway, let's thank you for your text messages. And
There was loads more. We just didn't get through them. We just wanted
we went
rant.
off on a little tangent.
Thank you,
there.
Alan, for that story. Fair play to you for getting involved. Now, after the break, aerial trapeze artist Hannah Gumbriel Gabrielle joins us to chat about her new show.
And Sarah Rickard has some denim designer fashion. There's gorgeous looks on the catwalk
Yeah,
today.
we'll see in a few minutes.
Welcome back to IrelandAM. Now, our next guest went from wanting to be a marine biologist to becoming a circus performer after a cancer diagnosis in her teens.
Yes, here to talk about life as an aerial performer and her new show. It's Hannah Gumbriel. Good morning,
Morning,
to you,
Hannah.
Thanks so much for having me.
Great to have you with us. Congratulations on the new show. It's absolutely flying. It is called Malignant Humour.
Yep.
It's based on your diagnosis and treatment of Hodgkin's lymphoma that you had when you were just 16.
Yeah.
Tell us about the diagnosis, how you found out.
So it was really simple. I had no symptoms at all. I was out for coffee with a friend. I dropped my scarf, and when I went to put it back on, I was like, that's something new.
Right.
And I remember looking to my friend being like, do you say that? She was like, yeah, gas. And that was like...
It was a bump on your...
Just tiny little bump, completely asymptomatic. That was a Sunday. By the Wednesday, I was in for a scan. And then I think about 3 weeks later, I was in for chemo. That was
3
it.
weeks.
Yeah, that was
You're
it.
16 years old. So how were you? Like, that's horrible to think about, being so young. But you obviously had an understanding of what cancer was.
Yeah, you do. Like, you've kind of got enough going on when you're 16, to be honest.
Yeah.
So it wasn't great, but I think, like, I kept going to school, I kept doing all the normal things. And you just, like, I think anyone who's had a medical diagnosis will tell you, you just keep going. And that's how life is, and you...
Amazing to get in for a scan so quick.
Now, I will say, like, we're so privileged. Like, my family have healthcare up to their
Okay,
eyeballs.
you're able
So
to
that
do
was
that.
very fast.
Yeah,
So I'm
that's just
under no
fantastic.
illusion that was because of that. But yeah, it was funny, actually. I was on the radio talking about it. I was like, oh, I think it was within a week. And I came out of the radio station. My mum was like, oh, yeah, that's not right. It was about 3. And I was like, thanks for telling me that after I got off the radio.
How does it impact you, something like this? I mean, like, I can't even imagine the scare for you, for your family at such a young age to have to not know the fear of, the big C word.
Yeah, and it is that. I think a lot of people hear that word and they tense up, and that's it. And especially like as a younger person, like you say that and you talk about the show to people, and they're like, like the amount of people who are like, is it you? Is the show about you? And I'm like, yeah.
Okay.
It's interesting because they'll kind of look at you and then they'll look at your hairline and then they'll look back and you're like, no, it's me. I'm fine now. Like, I even have it on the programme, like, if I bar the odd bonk to the head from a trapeze, I have a clean bill of health. So it's.
But you said something that I find really interesting that I've never ever thought about before. Certainly when it came to cancer, and that was a feeling of shame.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Why?
I think when you are sick, there is like a little bit of like sort of hidden shame and ableism in society that we hold quite closely in our culture. And it's the amount of people that I've spoken to before this show, after this show, who are like, I had this, my brother, my son, my friend, and I never told anyone. Like, I had someone text in to a radio show being like, thank you so much for talking about it. I have this, and the hardest part is keeping it quiet. So I find it extraordinary. Like, if you think about it, it's 1 in 3 people that will have it in their lifetime.
Yeah,
And
it's even going up now. We're getting to 1 in 2, yeah.
But like, how many people do we know that just haven't spoken about it? Like your neighbour down the road, like who's going in for chemo or who's going in for radiotherapy. And we're very good at the fundraising, we're very good at the afters and all of that. But when it comes to like Mary down the road.
But you found it hard. Like, sometimes people just didn't want to talk about it because they found it difficult.
Well, I didn't tell anyone.
Okay.
I told about 3 people. I would do it very differently now, obviously. 16? I told about 3 people, yeah. Now, I think, like, my mum probably would have spoken to, like, the school, and I'd say people knew what was up and all of that, but I told 3 people.
Wow.
You're so, like, locked in a box about it.
Focused on your own journey. But, like, you went through 4 rounds of chemo, you're in 5th year in school. Horrific. But listen, you have a clean bill of health, which is fantastic and wonderful to hear as well. You're a trapeze artist. So how did you go from that treatment and everything you'd gone through, I believe sport, you were on the lookout thinking, I need to get myself involved in something?
Yeah, it's a hard left turn. It's quite a turn. And like the irony is not lost on me that I spent about 6 months like getting better to now be like 20 feet in the air. Yeah. My parents are like, oh, sweet God.
But you wanted to appreciate your body.
100%. I think like when you go through, like, anyone who's probably had like a medical event will tell you like it feels like a disconnect. Like your body has done something without your consent. It feels like a bit of a betrayal. I was not a sporty kid in school at all. Like when it came to like basketball or football, I was always the kid being hit in the face. Like always. Like glasses broken by the basketball. That was me.
Yeah. We had Ellen Keane here earlier on talking about girls stepping away from sport, and it's not because but not every girl is into basketball or football, but it's about finding what you are into, and that's what you did.
Definitely. So I started doing like I got into the gym, I got into boxing, I've done everything. I've done parkour badly. I've done all sorts of things, and aerial was the one that stuck. I really, really like loved it as soon as we got going.
And we're seeing shots of you here. Upside down.
Well, you went to college to do science. You were like marine biology was like you did science, and the next thing, no, I'm going to become a circus performer.
Yeah, which is funny because both my parents are medics, so they're just looking. They're just like, where did this child come from?
Okay, okay. So it is your career now.
Yeah. Well, I work. I've been working in circus for about 10 years. I teach and I train it. I also work. Like my full-time job is now I work for Arts and Disability Ireland, which is also in arts. It's providing access services for audiences and artists. And it's just anyone who gets into circus will tell you, like, you take one class and that's it.
That's it.
Like, you have the book, you're done.
Okay.
Cooked. Like,
I can imagine. I mean, it looks incredible. Tell us then as well, you're also a performer. You've got your own show. It's the debut show in Dublin Fringe Festival. Yeah. How did you come up with this? Why did you decide you want to put together your own show? Malignant Humour.
I'm really pleased with the title.
Yeah, excellent. Lovely play on words.
It's partially what we were talking about, where it is a lot of like the shame around cancer and the shame around sickness. And when I grew up, and the more people I spoke to, who have had, like, people tell me about their dad, like themselves. I had a friend who passed away when she was in her early 20s, and she was one of the first people that I spoke like openly to about it. And I was like, I kind of can't not think about, like, it just kind of resonated around my head for a few years. And then the more I got into circus, the more I got into trapeze, I kind of found more of that like kinship with your body and like learning how like proud you can be of how you move. And then one day I was like, what if I make an aerial IV drip? What if I do this?
Okay.
And once that thought enters your head, there's no going back.
We're looking at that there. It's the IV drip coming off the... So Malignant Humour, you are in the air doing your trapeze stuff, but then there is an audio track.
Yes, so it's part theatre, part trapeze, and it's exploring the death-defying circus act that is cancer treatment. So it follows me through every blood test and biopsy, an awkward hospital appointment, all the way through to chemotherapy, which is the final scene, and that is a trapeze performance. And I go about, I want to say about 15 or 20 feet in the air for that one.
Wow.
Yeah, my partner can't look anymore.
That's amazing. Because you do a lot of voiceover on it as well. I know you got your anaesthetist.
I did, yeah.
Who was a really inspirational person for you going through the treatment as well. You tracked him down.
I did. I hunted Charlie down.
And he speaks in it as well.
He does, yeah. A big part of this show is like the importance of kind medics. And again, anyone who's been through a medical situation will understand, like, I've actually never laughed as much as I have on a chemotherapy ward, and that's kind of where the title comes from.
Gotcha.
But it's like this like back of mass laughter that you're like, I'm not sure if I can laugh at this. But there is a nurse there like trying to get you through the day.
Yeah.
You're just part of their 9 to 5, but I will remember them forever. And it really stuck with me how kind Charlie was. Like, I was about to go into surgery. I was 16. I was scared. Yeah. I cannot to this day remember what he said. I just know it was kind. And it's funny.
Put you at ease.
He did. And like I found him through a friend of a friend. And I was like, would you mind doing this thing? And he thought I was bonkers, but he very kindly did it.
You kind of did it. That's all there. So you've had to increase capacity in the Smock Alley Theatre in Dublin. This is your first solo show. It's called Malignant Humour. It runs until the 15th of September. You can get tickets on Smock Alley. What's next? You're staying within the performance realm, obviously.
Oh, yeah, I think so. I think
you'd probably want to tour it, would you?
I'd love to tour it.
Right. Okay.
I'd love to lie down for about a week afterwards and then tour it.
And then tour it.
I think it deserved that.
Thank you.
Huge congratulations.
So much.
It's been lovely meeting you. Hannah Gumbriel, and you can find out more on Smock Alley. Thank you so much.
Thanks a million for having me.
Thanks a million.
Enjoy that. Now, coming up next, a clinical nutritionist on how to boost your child's immunity ahead of a flu season.
And we'll be talking fashion with Sarah Rickard. Back with you in just a minute.
You're very welcome back. Now, while we've all enjoyed the summer months, as we head towards winter season, getting kids back into a routine is key when it comes to their health and well-being.
Yes, and here to help with some top tips is clinical nutritionist Ava Hill-Hamilton. Good morning to you, Ava.
Good to be with us.
And that's what we were just saying, like the summer, we're all over a bit all over the place. Second week back to school, the routine has to start, and that has to start with the food then and meal times.
And it has to start even before that. So our mind is kind of rebelling against the routine, but it's really good for us. So going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time, eating at the same time, getting back into that routine, our body prefers that. We like balance. And when it comes to the food, it's all about diversity. So if you remember nothing else, balance and diversity, that's what we need.
Diversity is easy to say, but when you've got kids, as I'm sure a lot of people know, that they're picky eaters, they see stuff and they just tell you, I don't like it. You could spend all day making something and they decide they don't like it. How important is it for you to get your kids to try different types of food and really kind of spread out that diversity?
It is very important. There are some kids who are a bit slower at getting at that diversity stage. What's really important is we can't force them. If you have stress around the dinner table, that just the stress hormone stops your digesting. That's going to cause tummy troubles for them, and then they reject more and more foods. So educating them on the foods and just offering to them, playing with the food, telling them how good it is, helping them to grow foods like little tomatoes in a windowsill basket, something like that. Helping them to create their own dinners or pick their own lunchbox ingredients. And you give them the choices, the healthy choices, and they pick what they want.
And I love what you've done here, even with the colours of stuff. So they would have maybe grown the little tomatoes and they cutting up the cheeses themselves to put on the little...
Or mummy cuts it if they're not comfortable with the knife.
And then they put it on the skewer.
They can put it on the little skewer.
And I love this as well. Just a little... It's just a great little plate, but for very younger kids, just to start getting them to play with food.
Exactly. So it's the fussy food plates that is really, really helpful. They can get it online. And just kind of creating, not just fruits, but even the dinner. You can put the vegetables as hair, the very awkward, like a broccoli as a nose. So just to touch it, smell it, play with it, so it's not so frightening for them. And then the more open they are, the more you can involve in the lunch boxes. The other thing that they can do is blend things into their food. So I know you don't like mushrooms, right? But if I blitz it up and mix it into a mincemeat, into a burger, you wouldn't know it's in there, and it gives it a much richer taste, right? A pinch of seaweed, dried seaweed over the food. That's really helpful as well. Blitzing cauliflower into sauces, into the burgers, anything like that. And smoothies, I love smoothies. Who doesn't like a chocolate milkshake?
Oh, yeah,
right?
absolutely.
But have you put anything hidden in this?
Oh, yeah, there's avocado in there, there's a bit of kale. The thing is,
but
you
they
don't
just
need...
think they're having a chocolate smoothie.
Yes, you don't need much. All you need is a little bit
Oh, really?
to get there. But then if they really, really reject the foods and the parents are nervous, because we know how the immune system and their cognition, their learning ability needs so many nutrients like zinc and iodine and the B vitamins, etc. They have somewhere to go for.
Because parents, would you sort of, because you might feel they're not getting as much nutrients or vitamins as they should be sometimes.
Absolutely. Like, there's times that the kids just trying to get them to eat, and you want them to eat the right food, but it is difficult and it's a battle at the kitchen table. So what can parents do if they're not getting the certain vitamins, if the kids won't eat as much fruit as they should be, or they're not eating as much vegetables?
I always call a multivitamin is like a safety net for them. So with a multi like Vivio Junior that has most of those really key ingredients in a very well absorbable form, and very importantly without preservative that would disturb the gut and cause allergic reactions, to make sure that they are bridging the gap. So we're replenishing those nutrients that are missing. But
so that's a spoonful of that every day, would it be?
It depends on the child's age, so 5 to 10 meals for a child.
And how young could you start a child on
from
this?
1 year onwards.
From one?
Yeah.
So if you see your child is not really feeding on stuff, just to make sure that the vitamins and nutrients are in them.
You can kind of make it fun too.
It does.
The
it
kids
looks
always
lovely.
want their vitamins.
Superheroes, and it tastes lovely as well. One key element that I want to pick out from that is zinc.
Okay.
Right? You need zinc for your taste buds to work. to create your digestive enzymes. If you have low zinc levels, and if you have low of the good bacteria in your gut, then you can't break down the food and you become fussy eater. So instead of trying to force food on them, so first sort out their nutrient levels, their gut flora, and then play with the food and hide little bits of the good stuff into their soups, into their food that they eat, like the red sauce. And then they will get interested more and more in the food.
So getting the food in is obviously most important. You want a proper diet with that. But if you are going to have supplements on top of that, the multivitamin, what about the gut for children? Is because we hear all the time how important it is for adults, but kids, I would imagine, it's the exact same.
We are big kids too, so very important for the adults. This is a very stressful time for everybody. And stress hormones, as I said, it stops your digestion, it interferes with your nutrient level, but also with your gut flora. You feel butterflies when you're nervous, or you would know that connection. So the good bacteria, again, the diversity is the most important. So the most strains of these beneficial live bacteria there is in the supplement or in foods like kefir, sauerkraut, yogurts. Commercial yogurts are less
natural
so.
Yogurt.
Yeah, the proper live yogurts, they are really, really good for you.
Important when you say the proper live yogurts, because you go into the supermarkets and it says natural yogurt, is that still full of sugar?
It should say BioLive. And they would only include 2 to 4 strains of the bacteria. So if you have a lot of stress, if you have a lot of tummy troubles, if there's an immune issue there, or cold and flu season, it's a good idea for adults as well as children to top it up.
How can this be taken? Is this just, so it's like a powder? So would you put it over their cereal?
Anything
or put
that is
it in
not
a drink?
hot or not alcoholic. You can put it into anything.
And if you want to keep that up as well, because it's coming in now, we see the weather getting cold, and children, especially young children, get very open to colds and flus.
So stress season, cold and flu season, but for a fussy eater, it's kind of all year round until they're built up and they're more open to food. So it's not just the back to school time, but these are the stressful times that both mommy, daddy and the children need it.
Yeah, absolutely. And certainly back to school lunch boxes and meals and everything else.
Well, I love the little lunch box here. I love this little idea of the way you've done this. This would be like getting in everything that you'd need in the day?
Exactly. And you don't need much if you give them a really good balanced breakfast with a lot of proteins, and like you can do egg muffins either for breakfast or for their lunch box.
You can tell me we're going to be having them ourselves.
Can I just ask quickly, cereals for kids, is that a no-no?
Yeah, not great. If you do cereals, add nuts and seeds, at least half the amount, or nut butters, because the cereal will be absorbed very quickly, and then the moods will go up and down, and their
Because we all think just getting cereal, that's perfect, but actually it's very unhealthy for children as well, very, very interesting. Ava Hill-Hamilton, thank you so much for joining us on that.
Now, coming up next, new jean styles for the autumn-winter season. See you in a few minutes.
Welcome back. It's a day for this one now. Denim designs and autumn-winter winners is the focus on the catwalk today.
Yes, and to provide you with the most popular denim looks, it's stylist Sarah Rickard. Good morning.
Looking forward to this.
Now, we're inspirational denim, we're calling it.
Indeed, yes.
I said dear, and she said, don't call it dear. Don't call it expensive.
It's inspiration for the looks that are coming this year.
Exactly, and these are kind of the tastemaker brands in the denim world that are really, they're deciding the trends, and we're seeing it then trickle down into high street, everywhere. Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So you're going to show us what's coming.
Yes.
Marwa is first today.
Marwa is first, and she is wearing a double denim. Yes. So this is a fab denim cohort that I am pretty obsessed with, to be honest. I think it is so cool. It's polished, but it's a bit fun as well, which I really love. I've kept it very simple by just layering a black polo neck underneath, and I think that works really well. I suppose the key with denim this season is make the denim the statement, and everything else is just to complement it. You want the denim to shine, you know? So,
and this is Anina Bing is a cool girl denim. She has been deciding everything for the past 5 years.
Absolutely. And again, you can see it all over the high street as well. So a lot of people would have been wearing, denim waistcoats with their denim skirts or denim shorts over the summer. This is how you update it then for autumn winter.
Is this meant to be closed?
I think it looks really chic.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
I think it's
like
more
it
of an
should be
outfit.
clothes,
Yeah,
shouldn't it?
and I love the collar on it, just that simple round collar, the gold button details.
Sort of military style.
There you
We're
go.
seeing in suits in River Island and everything at the minute. It's coming from this.
Yeah, totally. And I love, so I suppose all of my clients at the moment are looking for an alternative to the skinny jeans. I know they have been for a long time, but a nice stat for you, it's gone up something like 1,500%, the search for loose fit jeans on Depop.
Yeah, okay.
So there you go. So like the skinny jeans, you know, it's out for the moment. So these are great straight 90s style. You know, you'd see them on Kate Moss in the 90s.
Yeah,
that kind of
and Kate Moss
vibe.
does work with the Nina Bing.
Well, there you go. And the kitten heels are just so fab with all of these denim styles. Actually, even the more casual ones, a kitten heel is a really nice way to dress it up. These you should be wearing at nighttime.
And this winter?
Yes.
Kitten heels everywhere?
Yes.
Everywhere I'm looking?
Yes.
Kitten heels?
Exactly.
Yeah.
These are great. They're from Carvela and they're really
And if you just
gorgeous
had the
and easy
jacket,
to
you
wear.
could wear with a number of other things. Obviously,
Absolutely,
you didn't
yeah,
go
yeah.
double denim.
Mix and match with
here we
everything.
go.
Okay.
So here we go, and we're in.
Oh, yeah, I'm a goner now.
So this is a fabulous, as I call it, a mum on the run look. You know, as I was saying, the kids are back to school. You're wondering what to wear to the school run. I'm all about light layers, and obviously basics, elevated basics are key. So you've got your fab white t-shirt from American Vintage. Everything is in Brian Thomas and Dundrum, and it's just a really easy, lovely, slouchy, lightweight. Then we have the beautiful red sweater over the shoulders, which I know you've been rocking your Suzanne one, so this is American Vintage as well. But again, I think it's a key piece, just like the burgundy accessories. I think having a red sweater is,
I mean,
on the money.
Honestly, yeah. I buy once and you have them forever.
Exactly, yeah. Speaking of money,
these are
the Ayla jeans that Muireann is an owner of, and they are pricey, but they are absolutely sensational, and you know, cost per wear. And as I said, it's about inspiration, so it's about going for baggy.
Can I just ask you, just out of pure curiosity, why would these jeans be €389? Because of what?
The brand,
the brand,
yeah.
The make of them.
Yeah, the brand, I would say, more than anything.
Right.
And they're just the it girl jeans of the season, you know. So a big trend that everyone that I'm seeing everywhere is cuffing the jeans as you've done.
Is
but
that
they
what
look,
it is at the bottom?
yeah. But they look absolutely stunning full length as well.
So you've done that this morning.
Christina was wearing them like fully down as you tried them the other day, fully down, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. And again, you could dress them up then with a kitten heel, and they're amazing. So these are your all day, all night jeans, you know, and they're so cool. They're really flattering on the waist, on the bum, everywhere. Yeah, they're gorgeous. And it was very difficult for you to get out of skinnies. So if that's what it takes, it's worth it.
Well, right there. And the runner, so this is the casual, but everything can be dressed up.
Exactly, yeah. And like that look looks so cool with your Arizona Birkenstocks, and you know.
And those jeans they're trickling down already. You can see them kind of come into all the high street shops right now. So that is kind of going to be the silhouette.
Very similar pair in Mango, you know, so they're everywhere. Okay, so I wanted to show this look, and it is kind of a more heritage look, and it's a bit of an alternative to jeans, but it's still denim. They're still frame denim. So a lot of the denim brands are doing kind of slightly more trouser versions of their most popular, their most popular jean styles. So these are their palazzo wide.
So we'll start with we'll do the cardigan and the jacket.
So this is a fab little cropped cardigan from Sir, which is a new brand in Brian Thomas, and just a really simple knit, lovely cropped style. Beautiful button details, and then I've just the heritage blazer over the top, which I'm sure you will love.
A bit of heat in that, I'd say, as well.
Absolutely, lovely warmth. Yeah, it's the same brand. It's a beautiful wool heritage check jacket, which is just gorgeous. And then, so I've then teamed.
Are they cords?
They're cords. They're a fine cord, like a needle cord.
Yeah, it's a long time since I've seen a pair of cords.
Oh, they're back. They're back with a bang. Yeah.
For men as well.
Oh, I don't know actually. Yeah, I don't see why not. I've seen a lot, even with my own stock. I have a lot of cords coming through, which people love because there's such weight, and you can really feel the quality in cords.
Pair of brown cords. I never took them off.
Where are they?
Oh, years and years and years ago. Yeah,
they'll be back. And then there's just a pair of loafers.
Just a pair of loafers, yeah. I wore full cord for my confirmation, so I have a little bit of PTSD about that. So, while I appreciate it, I'm not sure if I can ever do full cord.
That was the style, right?
It was the style,
yeah.
Back in the 90s.
Absolutely beautiful.
It's stunning.
We realise that the prices here are high. This is inspiration for what will be coming down the line for an awful lot of people.
Yeah, and it's just to keep your eye out when you are shopping, when you are in the high street, or when you are looking online, to look for those cuts. So they're the wide leg palazzo jean, you know, you can get them all over the high street.
Beautiful, thank you, Danny.
So then for Mara's last look, I wanted to kind of say that, you know, you've had your white jeans over the summer, don't put them away yet, because they are big again for autumn winter, and it's just about teaming it with black
putting it with something
and knit.
different.
So again, you're getting, it's cost per wear, you know, just because the summer's over. It's beautiful, it's American vintage, so just a really lovely, soft quality cardigan, very simple, very chic.
Gorgeous.
And then these are like a barrel leg. There's a lot of,
This is where everyone's eyes are going up, going, hold on now. It's not, they're not going to suit everyone, the barrel leg jeans.
But I actually think they're more flattering than the mom jeans. They're not adding to your hips. You know, and the mom jeans were huge. So I think the barrel, and then there's the horseshoe.
Slightly baggier, aren't they?
Yeah, there's the horseshoe style.
Yeah.
Like, it's a statement, but it's not making her look bigger than she is.
No.
You know, I know
No.
she's petite, but around the hips and everything. So it's a statement.
That's a good point, because mom jeans do make everyone look bigger.
Yeah. Okay. So I think they're a lovely alternative.
And those are the kitten heels that you
They're
have
the kitten
from
heels
the
again. So it's just
start.
about kind of sandwiching the white jeans with darker shades then. So with your black on top and black on bottom. So it brings it into autumn winter then.
So these are kind of the shape of jeans that we are looking at.
Oh, they're getting more extreme.
They are, aren't
more
they?
extreme. Yeah,
Like
the
even there
horseshoe.
you're wearing the
so I'm wearing like a trouser style wide leg in a denim.
Yeah.
Which I think everyone should have in their wardrobe because they're work appropriate. And it's the same with the cords. You know, if you love that style in a denim, then why not buy it in a cord for the office? You know, so you can.
Has this been all like down the catwalks and now people are following?
Everywhere.
Is this the idea?
Yeah.
And then all the high street shops obviously have to follow trend, and so we're going to see all this now in the high street.
There's just so much choice.
Yeah.
We've gone from the 2010s where skinny jeans were the only option to going for multiple. You know, it's brilliant.
So many different styles.
There's so much choice.
Those are gorgeous looks, Sarah Rickard. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
They're gorgeous, lovely looks today. Thank you so much.
That's all we've got time for today. Tommy, what delights have you got for us tomorrow?
Oh, watch out, Rory McIlroy. Watch out, Shane Lowry. Like, literally watch out. Because I will be at Royal County Down tomorrow playing in the Irish Open Pro-Am. Also, tomorrow we're going to be following up on the first US presidential debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. That's going to be very interesting. And Gaeilge Enthusiast is going to be here to discuss her new book for Irish language learners. All coming up on IrelandAM tomorrow. It's going to be a fun old show, but I'm going to be off playing a bit of golf.
For the golf.
Well, if you thought you were good last week, Muireann, watch it.
I didn't think I was good.
Yes.
We are going to see you tee off, are we?
I'm going to be teeing off tomorrow morning, bright and early, myself and I don't know who's going to be there.
There's a plethora of stars. A plethora of stars.
It's going to be a great day. Looking forward to it.
Have a great day.